LeZevo likes to talk about life while he's shooting people in the face. LeZevo.
What is going on, everybody? It's LeZevo here again, back with another video for you. This is going to be a real treat for you guys. This is not about the gameplay at all. This gameplay is it kind of fit the right length that I needed, but one thing you'll notice is that everyone in this game is trying their hardest to take these flags and win. Everyone ends up with a lot of deaths, including myself, but I thought that was kind of entertaining. I thought it was kind of cool, which leads me into what I'm going to talk about today. I was on the Huppet forums and someone posted a video asking what our cool story bros are. If you're not familiar with that, Woody's Gamertag used to tell us a new story every week on the Painkiller Already podcast, and he called it his cool story bro, and it was something cool that happened to him or something neat that happened to him in his life, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I started thinking about what are my cool story bros, and I got a good one. So this is going to be my story about how I was strip searched at the Canadian border. And basically how that happens is, like I mentioned before, I live in Michigan. And I'm in the Detroit area, which, if you're not familiar with that, there's the Detroit River right there. Right across the river is Windsor, Ontario. And the popular thing to do when you're about 19, 20 years old is, obviously you can't drink here in the States, so you, Friday night, Saturday night, you take the tunnel or the bridge, you go over to Canada, and you party it up, because drinking age in Canada is only 19. So that's like just hugely popular. If you go there on a Friday and Saturday night, about 3 o'clock in the morning on the way back, the tunnel is just full of like cars with 19-year-olds like puking out of the window, and it's pretty wild over there. It's just like I don't know, like Lord of the Flies, like a bunch of 19-year-olds just running that city every Friday and Saturday, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, that's the popular thing to do. So me and my buddy Juwan, who's my good buddy from high school, we had an idea that we were going to take these girls that we were dating, because they were friends, we were going to take them and go over into Canada for the night. Go to there's casinos over there. We're going to go to the casino, go to the bars, get a hotel room, and you can guess what happens after that. So we had kind of everything planned out. So on the way over there, Juwan picks me up, and we had to stop at where he worked. He worked at a video store at the time, because he had to pick something up or tell somebody something. I don't remember exactly how it went, but we had to stop there. And the thing you got to know about Juwan is he was kind of a pothead, which was not, it wasn't my thing. But so he had in his car, he reaches, for some reason he went into his ashtray, and it was like this giant joint. I remember it was like Cheech and Chong style. And he's like, "Oh, I forgot about this." He's like, "You think I should bring this, or should I leave it here?" And I'm like, "Dude, we are gonna cross an international border." I'm like, "You leave it here." And he's like, "All right." I remember him saying, "It'd be nice to have." And I was like, and I'm like, "No, dude, it's not worth it, man. We're going over there. We're gonna get drunk and, have fun with these girls, and you won't even need it, So of course he leaves it, and turns out that was a good thing. But so we pick up the girls and we're cruising. It takes about half an hour to get to the border crossing from where I grew up. So we're riding in the car. We got the girls. We're laughing. We're having a good time. Well, it comes out on this car ride that the girl Juwan's seeing is only 17 years old, and she's going to use a fake ID. She's going to use a fake ID not only to get into the bars and such, but at the border crossing, because when you pull up there, they ask you for your ID, and then they'll ask you some questions. I don't know how many of you have crossed a border yet, but they'll ask you questions. They try to get you to like slip up. They're just normal questions, but they try to get something in your story that sounds funny and suspicious, and that's what they do. They're really good at it. So as we're approaching, we're going to go through the tunnel. Juwan, I don't know if you can tell by his name, but he's a black dude. And he tells me, he's like, "Dude, they always stop me and search my car." And I'm joking around. I'm like, "Yeah, it's because you're black." And he's like, "Yeah." And I've said, "But I never get stopped. So maybe we'll, my luck and your luck will cross-mogenate, and, we'll be safe." And so we pull up there, and as we're pulling up, the girl Juwan seeing, who's only 17, is like, should I give him my real ID or my fake ID? And I'm like, again, this is an international border crossing. I'm like, you give him your real ID. You know, these people don't mess around. You know, they're dealing with terrorists and stuff, and you know, you need to do the whatever, give them the right thing. So she hands him her real ID. Everyone in the car passes it up to Juwan. He hands it over to the lady, and I remember she asked, "So where are you guys headed?" And Juwan says, "We're going to the casino. We're going to go to the bars. Blah blah blah." Well, she's looking at the ID, and it doesn't make sense to her because the girl's only 17, right? She's like, "How are you going to go to the bar and the casino, and you're not even old enough to get in?" So that kind of threw up some red flags. So she's like, well, all right, pull it over here, please, sir. And the normal routine is they go and they search the car and try to find anything suspicious, right? Because they're already, you know, the wheels are rolling. They got some red flags popping up. So we pull over there and we're standing outside of the car and we're laughing and just joking around. It's pretty laid back, right? And all of a sudden, I see like some commotion occurring, and the one guy's calling for backup, and then some lady comes running over, and she's got like a bulletproof vest and an M16, and they're like, okay, everybody on the curb, 3 feet apart, palms in the air, you know, be quiet, and you know, we'll let you know what's going on in a second. And I'm sitting there freaking out. I'm like, what in the hell? Hey, like, I know I didn't bring anything. I don't think these girls brought anything. I'm like, what could, you know, so I'm kind of patient for like 5 minutes. Finally, I'm like, what did you find? And the guy's like, we found a pop bottle bong in the trunk. And I look over at Juwan like, what in the hell is he talking about? And Juwan just hangs his head down like, oh yeah. And it finally remembers that the weekend before he had went camping and forgot to bring some equipment, I guess. So they makeshifted this bong out of a pop bottle. And he left it in the car and tried to bring it into a foreign country. So, yeah, they don't think too highly on that. They informed us that is exporting drug paraphernalia without a license, which is a felony. So at the time, I'm going to college trying to get my engineering degree. I think I was 20 years old. And I'm thinking, I am never going to get a job because I am exporting drug paraphernalia. And I remember asking the guy, I'm like, can I get in trouble if I had no clue that was even there? And the guy's like, oh yeah, that's considered possession even because you're in the vehicle. I'm like, that sucks. If you don't arrest me, you may have to arrest me for murder because I will kill Juwan. I remember having those thoughts. But so anyway, finally they say, okay, we're gonna go through the car with a dog. Is there anything, this drug dog, search the car. Is there anything else in the car we should know about? Because the dog will find it. And Juwan's like, there may be a roach in the ashtray. I was like, dude, you gotta be shitting me, man. Like, can't you clean out your car before you go in there? So, whatever. I'm getting really frustrated with Juwan at this point, but they say, we're going to take you inside, and we're going to proceed with a strip search. And I was like, oh no. I'm like, my poor butthole is going to be violated. All I could think of was that Beavis and Butthead movie, because that was kind of fresh in my memory at the time, where, like, you know, the guy's like, grabs the rubber gloves and is like, don't stop till you hit the back of their teeth. I'm talking Roto-Rooter. That's the only thought that was running through my mind. But so they pull you in there, and the first thing they say, the girls are crying, by the way. They're just like hysterical. We're walking into this place, and there's, you know, they stop all the buses at the border and search them. And there's party buses full of bachelor party dudes just hammered, banging on the glass, pointing and laughing. I remember that. That was embarrassing. So we get in there, and they're like, okay, you're entitled to a same-sex strip search. Blah 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 blah, whatever. There's gonna be 2 people in there, and blah 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 blah. So they're like, okay, Juwan, you first. So he goes in there, and right as they're I see him walk in the door, and they're closing the door behind him. And I watch the guy reach over and grab 2 rubber gloves, and I was like, oh my god, no. So I'm thinking, I'm freaking out because I can't talk to Juwan. He's in there, and whatever's happening is going down, and I'm like, what is going on? So about 5 minutes later, 6 minutes later, he comes out. I remember his shirt was like half untucked and his head was down, and he was just like, he had that just violated look on his face, and I'm like, what is going to happen? And there was no time like to figure out what happened. Like, you know, I couldn't ask him any questions. It was just like, you're next, you know. So they point at me, and I was like, damn it. So I go in there, and it was kind of cool because the first thing they tell you is like, at no time will you touch us or will we touch you. We're going to ask you for something, and then you give it to us. So they're like, give me your shoes, give me your pants, blah, 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 blah. So I'm giving him the stuff, and finally I'm down to my underwear, and the guy's like, okay, give me your underwear. And I was like, oh, here we go. So take out the underwear, and now I'm standing totally naked in front of 2 dudes at the Canadian border. And the guy's like, okay, turn around and face the wall. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I turn around and face the wall. He's like, alright, take a step back. Take a step back. He's like, now touch your toes. And I'm not kidding you, this guy gets down with a Maglite flashlight and looks into my butthole. I guess that's where people are gonna hide their drugs, but I remember having this thought as I'm looking at him upside down between my legs. I'm like, dude, who would want this job? And I swear I said that, and he cracked a little smile and whatever. So what ended up happening is they messed up big time, man. They strip searched the girl who was with us, who was only 17, who was a minor, and so that was like the snafu, because they got confused because she had multiple IDs and stuff. And as soon as that happened, I knew we'd be all right. But the girl I was seeing, they found these like Stacker 2 diet pills that she had, which are apparently illegal in Canada. So they send us back across into the United States. So about 4 hours goes by, and they finally send us back to the U.S. because of these diet pills. And when they send you back, they stick this little paper under your wiper. So when you get back to the other side, they kind of know that you were sent back. And so they stick the paper under there. We drive across to the other side. And the ladies on the U.S. side, is like, "Oh, I see they turned you back. What'd they turn you back for?" My buddy Juwan looks at her and doesn't say diet pills. He goes, "They found a pop bottle bong in my trunk," and she goes, "Okay, pull it over here, please, sir." And I was like, "Oh my God, dude, don't tell them about that. We didn't even get in trouble for that." So we ended up pulling over there, and the other dude, as we're pulling over, I said, "Don't even mention the bong. We didn't get in trouble for the bong." And so he was like, "What?" And so the other guy goes, "What happened?" And then we said, "Oh, well, they found these diet pills and had to send us back." And the guy was like, "Oh, that's it?" And we're like, "Yeah, can you just throw them away and send us back?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." So he throws the diet pills away, and we go right back into Canada. And of course, they cut up the one girl's ID. Yeah, it was just ended up being an okay night. Me and the girl I was seeing went out and had a good time. We were both over 19. But I swear when we got back to the Canadian side, the border agent cracked a smile. She looked at us, she types in the license plate, and I swear this little half smirk came up, and I was like, yeah, she knows what went down. But anyway, I thought that was a pretty cool story. There's probably some more details there that I missed. If you guys are interested in hearing some more about it, yeah, let me know what you thought of it. Thanks a lot for listening, guys, and let me know if you guys got any cool story bros. Post a video response or make a comment in the description. I'd love to hear what you guys got going on. So, thanks, guys. See ya.